Hello, Dalia. Thank you so much for joining me in this episode of My Slice of the Sky to chat about
Thank
your
you.
journey as a working mom.
Thank you. Thank you, Bashari, so much. Firstly, for considering me for this discussion. And I would love to, whatever small way I can do this, it will be great for me. My own experience also. I would love to join in.
I hope you brought your superhero cape with you today.
Yeah, sure. Let's take it on now.
Okay, let's start with your career journey. How did you
Right.
reach your current position?
Okay, so it's a very interesting thing, Bashri. I think I came from a very typical Bengali middle class family.
Mhm.
And as you know, like grew up in a very small steel township where it was two things. You focus on studies and little bit of play. That's it. There was no life other else in Durgapur, basically. So, but there was always one dream to be financially, economically independent at the earliest. I think that also had its drawback. What happened was that when I was doing my post graduation from Jadavpur University in economics, I possibly now, when I look back, I think I should have done a little bit more in economics, a little bit more higher studies, or continue to do something in economics. But the moment I got a job, there was a large logistics supply chain
Mhm.
company. The interview happened and they gave an offer to join as a management trainee, and I just joined the job. So I just after post graduation immediately, I mean, that everything happened in a ziffy actually. So that's where the started. So it's a very mixed career, I would say. Started in supply chain and then was there for 7 years. Very early on moved into a leadership role, and predominantly it was always sales actually in that context, customer
Mhm.
service, sales and all that. Moved a little bit from Kolkata, moved to Bangalore, from Bangalore moved to Pune, and
Mhm.
around the same time son was born. So 1 year down the line, when he was about a year, then I consciously took a call of taking a sabbatical, so
Mhm.
that I mean, it was a conscious call. I have been working for some time now, 7, 8 years. So I took that break, and as luck would have it, the break, I thought about making it about 2 years, but it became about, I think, 3.5, 4 years. And then to come back was a real challenge. And it was a switch in industry also. From there, I moved into leadership hiring and all that. So it was a complete career shift. Common point being the sales aspect. So at the end of the day,
Mhm.
here also, I am in more of a business role.
Mhm.
So since 2008, joined back, I would say, corporate life, worked in few companies as largely leadership hiring for the industrial domain. And now it's a different avatar again. Work remains the same, but I'm an entrepreneurial model. 2020, I took the plunge.
Mhm.
It's been quite a long time that I have been in this role, and let me try something of my own. Lucky, I would say, Pune based search firm, they kind of approached and told, why don't you take it up and help us set up the industrial practice? I just took it. It was another plunge, leap of faith. And I would say, Bashari, that has been the best decision of my life. When I took it, I was not sure. I'll be very honest with you. ऐसा नहीं था
Mhm.
कि I was thinking कि everything is going on. I'm
Hunky
ready
dory,
for it.
yeah.
I was. I wasn't. It was just a leap
Mhm.
of faith, just that think of, let me, I have always been a little risk taker in that sense. Let me take that risk. Kya hoga at the end of the day? Might have to go back to corporate, might be look out for a job. All that thing was there. So I took that plunge, and I have, it's been great, fingers crossed, doing well. And now I am a partner with a firm, the same firm basically, whom I joined in 2020. And I head their industrial practice. So it's a entrepreneurial mode. It's going strong so far.
That's really great. And you mentioned that you went into a leadership role pretty early in your life. And
Right.
I have seen people's leadership style change, from the time they started on to,
Right.
today,
Right.
from like a chaos juggler to a Zen master
Right.
now. So how has been
Right.
your leadership style, and how have you noticed yourself evolve in leadership over the years?
Absolutely. You have rightly asked, and it has been my experience too. It did evolve, and what and did went through quite a lot of changes. The core remained the same. I would say the core never changed. But when I joined in, I think I was with the organization for about 3 years, 2.5 years. The head of customer service left. So they
Mm.
said that, why don't we try somebody internally instead of hiring somebody from outside? I was just 2.5 years, 3 years into the role, and then they
Mhm.
took me and they told me, you try it out. I mean, if you're not able to do it, we'll see. We'll try and hire somebody. But I kind of took it on, and the challenge then, Bashari, was majority, I would say 85% of the team was elder to me, senior to me actually. So to
Yeah,
juggle that
it is a
aspect.
challenge.
Correct. So they were not, I mean, some cases they were forthcoming, some cases they were very supportive, some cases they were not. And I don't blame them today when I look back that they, I mean, I cannot judge people because of that. I mean, they were there in the organization for long. They did not get that opportunity. So that leadership was more of adjusting, trying to find my feet, trying to make certain adjustments, a lot of time being diplomatic when they I knew that they're not liking this change and all that, some cases being a little bit tough in some situations where I knew I had to take. So from then on, it was that was more of trial and testing method. I was just trying to see which works best. From then, gradually, as I moved up the ladder and also moved into various roles, various industries and all, it has become more of a, I would say, a democratic kind of leadership style. One thing I never liked was micromanagement, whether I was when I was very young in my career till date. I just don't like micromanagement. So I feel people are capable enough, whom I've hired, and they should get that opportunity to do things on their own. No problem if they make a mistake. There are people like us who can back them up, right? So I've always been that democratic kind of a leadership style that put in your best. If you put in your best, I am there. I'm sure you're going to do well. Put in your hard work. I mean, there is no really in leadership. I personally feel that one size fits all, right?
True,
For
true.
different kinds of people, you have to have different kinds of methods. But overall, I think the core has remained the same, which is
Mhm.
democratic, which is giving people the scope to come up, empowering them, and in many of the cases taking giving them a proper backup, like I'm there for you, that kind of feeling. If even if you go wrong, I will not pick you up if you have tried, right? So that's
True.
been the evolved thing. I
Trust is the
Yes.
biggest thing here.
Right, right.
I once heard a working mom say she can write an email, cook dinner, help with her children's homework, all at the same time. So, how do
Right.
you manage this balance of professional responsibilities with your mom role? Do you have extra hands hidden somewhere or a magic potion that you pour into your morning chai?
Right. So my experience has been that, and I also tell, this is something which I would also tell to young mothers in case if for
Mhm.
the little bit of success that I have seen by going by this approach, is that don't try to be perfect, because we have been made this way and we have been told that you are very strong. A woman can do everything, can multitask and everything. You need don't go out to prove that, right?
Mm.
Take a little bit a chill pill, I would say. I mean, you need not be perfect in everything you do. I mean, you need not be a great cook, you need not be a great somebody who keeps the house perfectly neat and clean, everything in everything very organized and all that need not be, right?
Mm.
So I think for every mothers, of course we have to multitask, because that is what our we have to do that, because being the mother we have to take care of the home and all that. You get people have got very supporting spouses also. I find these days where I have very young team members who have got great spouses who they help them a lot actually. So I mean that is where it's all about basically understanding that there is a limitation to which you can do, right? घर का भी देख लेंगे, बाहर का भी देख लेंगे, and office का भी देख लेंगे, everything perfect, it is not going to happen. So
True.
whatever is possible, do that.
Mhm.
And I'm sure the whole support system actually can help. And another thing which I always tell young mothers and all, wherever possible, take out support. I mean, you can always these days you can pay a certain amount of money and then can get those support to do that. Don't shy away from taking help and support and out to prove that I can do everything.
Yeah.
So that's been my mantra or philosophy, is that you cannot be perfect in everything you do. It's not possible.
I fully agree, right? There's really no need to prove that you're the superwoman at
Right.
every aspect of life. Tell me something,
Absolutely.
Dalia. Have you ever felt vulnerable on the personal front that could have or have had an impact on your career?
Right. So yes, Bashari, I mean, of course, Not nobody's life is perfect, so I also did not have a perfect life. First thing was that at a very age where many of my contemporaries were growing up the ladder and they were really doing well, I took that career break. It was a very conscious call. So it was my call to take that break when my son was born and to give those 3 years, which possibly got extended a bit more than I would have anticipated. But then that was my call, so I take the full ownership of that call. So that there was one moment when I was going back to the corporate life, and then those thoughts came that son is still 3 years old and I'm going back. I have not done this ever. This industry change happened. I was, but core of course being sales, I just took it head on that I'll give it my best shot, right? And if I'm sure if I give my best shot, I will surely be able to do what I want to do. And that is where I think that confidence, I took those steps. So when I joined a search firm for the first time in my life, I've never ever seen that Naukri portal. So that was the first time I saw. I just picked up the things, and I have been lucky also, got a great mentor and all. And then it just I remember my ex manager telling me that you joined the industry fresh and at a leadership role, but you took like a duck to water basically. So I mean, that was my learning then. So there was a vulnerability there where I realized that I'm coming back after a certain sabbatical, changing the industry again, a very young mother. I got those certain helps about a full-time house help and all that, but that was one occasion. And the other came a little in my mid age when I was just about 41, when of course, I became a single mother. Okay. So when I became a single mother, and in that moment, there was a huge amount of that questions, those doubts started coming that will I be able to manage it now with my son at a growing age, his education, my career, so many things, managing this whole thing alone, all by myself. And that is when I had those doubts, but never ever came back from that thought that I will stop working or maybe take a break and try to set up things in life and all that. I thought the best way to come out of this is to keep working and be at it. And I'm sure if I put in my efforts and with the support system I always had in terms of my close family and all, I will be able to manage it, which I did. And the third happened when I decided to move into an entrepreneurial mode. So there was again that question came. Being a single mom, had certain financial requirements and all for my son going into higher studies and all. Will I be able to manage it? What happens if this fails? But then I said, let me give it a shot. Worst case, and I'll come to that maybe quickly later, is that I will go back to corporate. That thought was there. And I personally feel, though most of us women don't focus too much on the finance aspect in our lives and all. I mean, I'm not telling that you have to be absolutely completely Sara picture hona chahiye, but we should all be very, very, to some extent, idea hona chahiye. What is your savings? What can you do? How can you build your finance for the future? So that I had started taking very early on in life. When I was, I think, around mid 30s, I had started doing it. So I had genuine interest that I started doing. So that helped me during my tough days. So that kind of helped me because I had built a certain corpus, which I could then use it now.
Great, great, Dalia. It's really wonderful to hear this, and I kudos to you for taking those kind of I would say career changing plunges in your
Right.
life. It teaches a lot actually. Many times, what happens is we stick to the beaten track. So, though sometimes an opportunity which is different
Right.
presents itself, a lot of people would not want to take is because it's so far away from their comfort zone.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
kudos to you, and huge thanks to you, Dalia, for sharing your incredible career journey and life journey with us today. And it's
My
clear
pleasure,
your,
Bashari. It's been
I'm
a
sure
pleasure
your
talking to you.
superhero cape is on.
I'm sure
It's
all of us.
invisible, but it's on.
Thanks. Thank you so much. Yes, it's been a great
Thank
journey,
you.
full of gratitude only.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much, Bashari. Thank you. Bye.